Hey everyone, sorry about part one. If you were watching part one, controller didn't turn on, and that's because I opened it up afterwards. The power supply was set to 220, and I flipped the switch. It's 110. That's whoopsie. So I'm gonna go back into the comments, see if I can find my channel, and I know everybody's probably missing it right now, but here I find my live video. Here we go. Yay! I got 5 people. Sorry again. I screwed up on the first one. It was set to 220, or it came set as 220. I switched it over to 110. We're booted up and we're live. So, yeah, simple solution. It was just a flip of a switch inside the controller there. So it was just set for 220. So if you're watching this part 2, here we go. There's only 5 of you, but okay. So you can see the controller is right here and up and running. So we can move around the machine, and it's got these buttons over here. So I can do Y1, and if I do 10, it moves in increments. If I do 100, it'll move in increments of 100. So we got left, right, forward, back, and then we can do in right back, left back, forward, forward front, forward right. So you can see we're moving around like that. I got the controller plugged in. So if we move around, this is really nice with the thumbstick. We can go forward, backwards. Then you can see the Z. We can move it up and down again. But you can also see the hose boom. So I meant to do in the first one. I haven't plugged in the socket, but if the socket was there, the hose boom really takes care of the router cable being drug around like that. Yeah, the controller is super responsive. It's really nice, up and down. So, I mean, it's pretty quick. This live isn't going to be very long because I didn't plan on going this long, and I have a full-time job to get to in the morning. So I'm going to kind of summarize this really fast, some of the little pieces. So on the screen, we have where we can move this hose out of the way. We can now home, and without limit switches, we can home. So if I push the X home, I'll push that. You can see it moves over, and it's going to home. Yeah, sorry, GW. So it hits the side, it backs off just a little, and it homes. So let's home. Let me get this out of the way. So it comes all the way forward. It's going to home Y. So it bumps the front edge. It detects that that's the home. So it stops right there. And then the final one would be the Z. So we'll home Z. It bumps there. And now we've home Z. So now when I move the machine all around, it stops before it gets to the back. It can't go too far. If I move the machine to the front, it stops. To the left, it stops. And to the right. So that's the machine. And that's the Z all the way down. And that's the Z up. There are no limit switches. There are no inductive switches. You can see over here, I have two Prusa machines. They don't have limit switches or anything like that. They use it to where they detect the current when it taps the edge, and it knows that's the limit. So there are no wires to wire up for your limit switches, and there are no limit switches to break or anything. It literally just taps the edge, and you're going really well. So with the controller, Y is as fast as you can go. That's ultra speed. During the beta machine, I was using this a lot, and we were messing. They were sending me different settings to test out, and this thing can travel like 5 times faster than this. So fast to where it was trying to run itself off. It was just too fast. So they tamed it down a little bit. If you push the red button, B, it kind of slows it a little bit more like that. A button slows it a whole lot. And the X button, it's going to a crawl. So you can't even see the Z going up and down, but now you can. So that's the controller. Yeah, it was just a simple 220, 110 switch inside the controller. It was set to 220, and I'm in 110. So I switched that, and we're good. So over here on the controller, again, it's just a touch screen, and this can be plugged into anything. It's running off of the controller stuff is built in. But so it's got an emergency stop button. You can see you can plug in a camera if you wanted to. I have a USB camera somewhere, and I don't know where I put it. Let me see. If I plug that in, you can look at that. Well, I don't know where my camera is, but you can plug in any USB webcam, and it will show you. No, can't find my camera. But it'll show you a camera if it was online. Right now it's offline, so we can view that any other way. I haven't even set it up to connect to my Wi-Fi yet, but I will do that real quick. So you just go to the admin page, and then it asks for Wi-Fi setup. We're going to go to client, and then you would type in your Wi-Fi, and I'll type it in here. My access point is really long, but I have Wi-Fi in the shop, or you can plug it in with a network cable. So I'm going to put in my password, and I'm going to pass. And I'm going to hit set up, and it's going to say, are you ready for it? And you're going to hit OK. It's going to reboot, and then it's going to boot up like this. And I think I need to turn the power for the screen on again, because anytime it reboots, the screen wants to shut off. So you turn the power back on. Yes, it'll carve faster than 200. I've done, on the beta machine, I was 275 inches per minute in aluminum. So you missed it not powering on because it was set to 220. And I took the controller apart, swapped it over to 110, and it powered on. So that's where we're at. So it ended earlier. Can you hold down the buttons on the screen to move, not just tap them for stepping? No, it's not. At least in this iteration, it's not a hold the button down. It's you got to tap it each time you want to go. So I think maybe if you want that setting, you'll be good. But yep, just a switch issue. Don't cancel your pre-order. It was just a 220, 110 kind of thing. So it does take a little while to boot up and set the settings for the Wi-Fi. So we're waiting on that right now. And it just booted up. Let's flick it over to the home screen. Don't be scared. The first live was fine. It's just when you go live, that's what happens. Of course, it works off screen all the time, and then you go live, and then it doesn't work. That's why no one ever wants to do a live, because smoke and mirrors with YouTube. So, but we're back up and ready, and you can see I can jog it around again. But now I am connected to, I think I'm connected to my Wi-Fi. If I put in the password right. But now I'm connected to Wi-Fi. I can use my phone to connect to it. I can connect to it with the computer. Yeah, all it was a switch. And it's already 10:30, and I didn't plan on going this long. So I have a full-time job, and I have to be at that at 7:30. So I'm not going to do too much more. If there's anything else I can show you or answer for you guys, let me know right now, and I'll show you. I'm not going to cut anything out. It's 10:30, and I have neighbors all around me, so I don't want to run it at night. I'm also ready for bed and don't want to get all sawdusty and wake my wife up going and taking a shower. So that's where I'm at tonight. So yeah, just a switch. So yeah, if you want to jog, it doesn't work when you hold it down. It kind of acts like a right click. You have to tap it. But there's 10, there's 100. So that's what it looks like. And let's say if I go over here and I set this as home, or 0, this is my 0 for X, I'll 0 for Y, and then I'm going to bring the Z down a little bit. I'll bring my Z down to there, and that's going to be my Z. But like, let's say I'm setting up a piece, and that's where I want it set. If I move everything out of that position, let's say I move everything this way, and I want to return to it, I just hit the center button, and it brings it right back to Z0 or XY0, and then the Z0 right here, if I tap that, that brings it right back to Z0. So that is the 2 settings there. So yeah, I didn't want to leave you hanging tonight because I know you wanted to see it move, and I wanted to see it move too. So that's why I came back and just threw it up. Sawdust is just man's glitter, but wife doesn't like it in the bed, or I can't fall asleep to it. So when am I going to start the enclosure build? I'm going to start it probably this weekend because I want to cut more aluminum and show it off more. So yeah, so that's the touch screen. Again, you can move it. You can just detach it, hold it, move it around like this if you wanted. Or you can use the controller, move it around like that. Honestly, I prefer the controller. And then you can always pull out your phone and do it on your phone, and then connect it to your computer. So I'll show that. All that stuff is really like detailed stuff. I'll show at a later date. So keep following the channel. Subscribe. You'll see that stuff. Any other questions you got? I know the big end piece was that it wasn't moving around last time, but now it's moving. I wanted to show that off. That was the final thing I was going to show off earlier. But this is what it looks like. So if you don't home the machine, a lot of machines, the way you have to turn it on, you have to home the machine. And some people don't. Sometimes some more advanced users don't even need that step. It doesn't really make a difference because if you set your Z0 here and you set your piece correct, it'll cut out even without homing. So if you don't home your machine and you jog your machine, the machine doesn't know where the end limits are. So we've restarted. I haven't homed anything. So if I try to go off the edge, it'll grind like that. It'll act like it wants to go off. So if you're not used to CNC machines, that will kind of be a surprising thing. So again, if you're used to it homing first and knowing its limits so it won't act like it's going to go really far, you're going to turn it on, and I'm just going to move it closer so it doesn't take forever. Turn it on, and you're going to hit the home button on the screen here. So I'm going to hit home on the X. Oh, let me see. Hit the wrong button here. I'll hit the home on the Y. Hit the home on the Y, and it comes forward, and I don't want it to hit anything. So it hits it like that, and it knows where the Y is. And it'll do it the same thing for the X. It'll come over, hit the end, and pinch. No, never mind. Hit the end, it knows the limit right there, and the same thing for the Z. So let me check here. Can you turn on the Wi-Fi and the screen be wireless? No, the screen always has to be plugged in. This is basically just a TV, so it has to be plugged in to be able to use. So, and that's pretty much it. I just wanted to jump in. Kind of sucks that this didn't happen in part 1, but at least part 2, you got to see the machine move. And I'll do more videos. They probably won't be live. This is not like my normal format. I like to edit things and sit down and not be under the gun, I guess, as a live would do. You can use a separate phone or tablet as well. Yes, when you connect the controller to Wi-Fi, you literally will just pull out your phone and bring up your, on iOS, I'm using Safari or Chrome, any type of browser. Also on your computer, you'll bring up your browser and you'll type in when you're connected to Wi-Fi, it'll tell you your IP address. You'll type in that IP address, and then you'll be able to connect to it. It does not have a fourth access yet. I think they're looking to add that, so may come in the future, but there's no fourth access that I know of. So, and that's about it, guys. That's all I got. 39 of you. Congrats to 39 that actually got to see it move. Sorry to the 550 that watched it live and didn't get to see it move, but know that it was just a switch issue on the power supply. It was set to 220. I flipped it over to 110, and you can see working fine. So the perils of live, that happens. But that's it. So thanks for watching. Keep up with the channel. Of course, I'll do a whole lot more videos on this now that I have the production machine, and I'll show more detailed ways of how to use it, more detail of the screen and stuff when it's not 10:30 at night, and it'll be a little nicer. So, are you able to send Are you able to send files remotely or have to use a thumb drive? I don't have a thumb drive plugged in. I never used a thumb drive. I always connected to my computer, and I uploaded straight from my computer to the controller. So don't need a thumb drive at all. And do you have to oil the shafts? Yes, there is a bit of maintenance. There are 2 oil spots on either shaft and one up here. Wipe down, when you cut stuff, clearly suck up the dust. Wipe down the rails once in a while. And it depends on how much you use it. I use it, once, twice a week. It's not a big deal. If you're using it 12 hours a day, every day, you're going to want to oil that thing a whole lot more often, maybe once every 2, 3, 4 weeks. With the beta machine, I never did any maintenance. I had it for over 6 months, and it worked as good as it did the first time I used it to the last time I used it. So that's about all the questions. All right, guys, have a good night. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See you later.